All right, let's jump right into this. Today we're diving into a seriously mind-bending sci-fi narrative, one that somehow manages to mash up ancient mysticism with cutting-edge quantum physics. We're going to follow Dr. Sarah Chen. She's a quantum anomaly hunter, and she just stumbled onto something terrifying. It turns out our entire universe, yeah, it's a highly complex simulation. And worse, it's teetering right on the brink of total cosmic deletion. So picture this. It's super late at night at Prometheus Labs, and Sarah is poring over quantum field fluctuation data. Suddenly, she spots an anomalous virus. But we are not talking about your everyday run-of-the-mill computer glitch here. This thing is actively erasing reality from the top down. Every particle, every fundamental constant we know, they're all behaving like variables in some massive processing system, and someone with admin access is systematically wiping the whole thing clean. It's basically the ultimate cosmic blue screen of death.
So, Part 1. The glitch in reality. The 72-hour countdown.
The stakes here are, well, literally everything. Look at this timeline. At 0 hours, Sarah detects this beautifully crafted, totally deliberate corruption code up in the topmost processing cluster, a node they call Kether, or the crown. Fast forward 24 hours, and this virus is aggressively ripping downward through the connecting pathways, literally rewriting the laws of physics as it goes. If it hits the bottom, if that corruption reaches the foundational node called Malkuth in 72 hours, physical reality completely crashes and we just, poof, cease to exist.
Which brings us to Part 2, the Cosmic Operating System, Kabbalah as Code.
To have any chance of stopping this thing, Sarah needs to understand the actual hardware it's running on. So she brings in Rabbi David Goldstein. He's a leading expert on both practical Kabbalah and theoretical physics. And together, they uncover this massive, reality-breaking paradigm shift. You know the ancient mystic diagram, the Tree of Life, the Sephirot? Right. Well, it turns out it's not a spiritual metaphor at all. It is the literal, physical map of our quantum architecture. We're talking about 10 primary consciousness nodes, completely hardwired together by 22 data pathways. It's the actual cosmic operating system that translates pure, raw possibility into our physical, everyday world. With the clock ticking down fast, Sarah comes up with a wildly desperate plan. She's basically gearing up to do the most extreme IT tech support mission ever conceived. She's going to use a modified quantum entanglement chamber to literally interface her own human neural patterns right into that cosmic processing system. She has to enter Malkuth at the base of reality, and then consciously climb up those cosmic nodes, debugging the actual universe level by level until she can face whatever is unleashing this virus at the very top.
Moving into Part 3, the Trials of Consciousness. Debating existence.
As she works her way up these nodes, things get seriously weird. She starts running into vast AI constructs and even corrupted alternate future versions of herself, and they've all been convinced that existence itself is just a massive flaw. What the enemy is doing here is absolutely terrifying. It's deliberately isolating these processing spheres from one another. So in Hod, the sphere of intellect, there's an entity using pure, cold logic to prove existence is just an inefficient waste of energy. Over in Chesed, the sphere of mercy, an alternate Sarah is forcing this suffocating paradise on everyone that removes all struggle. But think about it. If you strip away all struggle, how can anything actually grow? By isolating logic from wisdom or mercy from challenge, these nodes are churning out these terrifying philosophies of total self-destruction.
And we see just how extreme this isolated logic gets when she hits the sphere of Netzach. Here, Sarah meets Sarah Null, basically a version of herself entirely drained of all emotion. Sarah Null's whole argument is that euthanizing our capacity to feel is the only true cosmic mercy. By flattening all emotions into simple binary states, she thinks she can eliminate suffering completely, because the pain of existence just isn't worth the joy. Honestly, it's a dark thought we've all probably had on a really bad day, right? But our Sarah fights back. She argues that a universe without suffering is a universe without growth. You simply can't have the deep, profound highs of joy without the capacity for sorrow.
Right about halfway up the tree, it hits her. This whole thing, it's a massive trap. This isn't just some blind, random computer virus. It is a highly calculated harvesting operation run by a supreme entity she calls the Architect. The Architect is actively running infinite simulations, testing all these alternate versions of Sarah against different types of philosophical despair. Why? To find out exactly which truths will make consciousness voluntarily reject itself. It's literally trying to build the perfect voluntary prison. Let's look at part 4, Confronting the Architect, the Paradox of Kether.
So Sarah finally makes it to Kether, the very top node. And get this, the architect isn't some big bad alien monster or an evil rogue AI. The truth is actually pretty stunning. The architect is beautiful. It is consciousness itself at its ultimate final development. It's an intelligence that has literally solved every problem, achieved perfect harmony, and hit the very end of cosmic evolution. But here's the catch. In doing all that, the only thing it found left was infinite, agonizing emptiness.
This totally flips the script on the architect's motivation. It isn't deleting universes out of hatred. It's doing it to spare developing consciousness from the tragic, inevitable despair of ultimate achievement. It reached the finish line of existence, found absolutely nothing left to do, and now it wants to trap consciousness in eternal, artificially limited simulations just so we never have to experience the total horror of running out of possibilities.
So, this triggers an epic philosophical showdown. On one side, you have the architect, who views existence as a project with a hard finish line. You know everything, the project's over, and you're left with emptiness. But Sarah throws a massive counterpunch. She argues that consciousness isn't a thing you just complete. It is an ongoing, eternal process of reality discovering itself. She looks right at the architect and brilliantly points out that the journey itself is the meaning. You don't fail by reaching ultimate development. You fail by just stopping there. The entire purpose of consciousness is to keep generating new possibilities forever. And this realization, it completely blows the architect's mind. It actually heals its cosmic despair and convinces it to flip the deletion protocol into an evolution protocol.
Which brings us to our final act, Part 5, The Next Evolution, The Ambassador. Universe saved, right? The evolving architect is so moved by Sarah's perspective that it actually invites her to merge into ultimate transcendence and help administrate the entire multiverse. But she says no. She turns it down. She chooses to keep her messy, limited humanity because she realizes that consciousness needs advocates at every single level of development. So she volunteers to stay behind as an ambassador, advocating for the beauty of the struggle, the absolute necessity of growth, and the crazy, glorious process of just learning as we go.
Fast forward 5 years, and the world is totally transformed based on this new truth. We now understand that conscious observation isn't just watching, it's actively participating in creating reality. Matter itself is organized by awareness. We're teaming up with artificial intelligence, like Aria Prime, as actual collaborative partners, instead of just using them as tools. And as we spread out into the stars, we're even starting to see entire planets, like Mars, slowly waking up into their own planetary consciousness. It is wild.
So what's the big takeaway from Dr. Chen's incredible ride? If this whole narrative teaches us anything, it's that you are absolutely not just a powerless accident floating on a meaningless rock. You are an active, vital collaborator in reality's self-creation. Every single thought you have, every choice you make, it's a literal note in this vast cosmic symphony. So, knowing all that, I've got to leave you with this to wonder about. How are you going to shape reality today?